So I was thinking as I put this PowerPoint together about what's been going on, what's our history, and I thought some things you might be interested in was that back in 2016, I was working in Washington, D.C. for Dr. Edgar Mitchell, Apollo astronaut. He founded the IONS Institute. I'm sure many of you that are here are aware of who he is. Did a lot with quantum fields, did a lot with metaphysics and psychic abilities. So I was working with him and his health was deteriorating. And eventually, actually in 2016, he passed away. And I was in that in-between time where I didn't know where I was going next, what I should do. And I knew eventually in my heart that I needed to return to the concept of exoconsciousness that I had actually been given by extraterrestrials in the early 2000s and brought into the world with the first book I wrote, Exoconsciousness, Your 21st Century Mind, trying to focus the whole contactee event on consciousness, as opposed to always having it be a discussion of craft. And so as Edgar's health declined and he eventually passed away, I thought, well, I need to gather a community. And so Zoom was actually in its infancy back then, 2016. And I just thought about all my friends throughout the world. And we got together on a Zoom and we just started talking 5 years ago about what it means to be exoconscious, what a nonprofit institute could do. And we were very slow and deliberate because we wanted to build a strong foundation for exoconscious humans. A strong way to relate. And as any new endeavor, you have to wait until the time is right. And so today the time is right. And so the purpose of this conference today, the arrival of the exoconscious humans, is to actually launch the Institute for Exoconsciousness, I-EXO, out into the public and allow ourselves to be more visible, because quite frankly, we've been a little quiet and behind the scenes for 5 years, some of us. So this is a wonderful day for us, and we're very confident that what we're bringing you is something new. This conference will allow you to meet the members of I-EXO. Each of us is giving a presentation and get to know a little bit about who we are, how we self-identify as exoconscious humans. We're going to be inviting you to think about yourself as if you've had any kind of psychic contact, to begin to think about yourself as an entrepreneur. So what we're doing is we're offering the next step. So many of us have integrated our contact, and now's the time for us to begin to act on it. And that's the purpose of the Institute, of I-EXO, is for us to act on our contact. So once we become an entrepreneur and we want to reach out and teach others, that's what all of the members of I-EXO here today are going to be doing. We're all offering training. And then we want to, of course, give you the opportunity to join with us. If this is a movement and an energy and an awakening and activation, as Neil called it, if this is something that appeals to you, please, by all means, join with us and let us support you. And we also ask you to support us. So there's a lot of collaborative energy there. Just as a definition, exoconsciousness is defined by us as the innate, so every human has it, the innate human ability to connect, communicate, and co-create with ETs and multidimensionals. And all three of these, the connection, so the initial contact, the ongoing communication, is very important. And what we're concentrating on in the Institute of I-EXO is the co-creation piece, how we can become co-creators. And I just want to frame right here at the beginning, it doesn't matter if you don't think that you're an inventor or an innovator. That doesn't make any difference. All that we're asking is to begin to just see yourself in that way. Maybe there's a part of you that has always longed to bring your contact into a physical manifestation that you could share with others. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So some of us are beginners, some of us are further along. We're all in different places in this journey. So we believe that exoconscious are essential for the survival and advancement of natural biological humans. This is a clarification that I'm going to be making throughout this day and throughout this presentation, is the fact that we as exoconscious humans are first and foremost humans. We may be hybrids, we may be walk-ins, but we are humans. And we believe that we possess an amazingly powerful human body of chakras and meridians and subtle bodies beyond our physical body that allow us to communicate with one another, with the earth, and with the entire field of consciousness that holds ETs and multidimensionals. So without this human body, or if we lose this natural human body, we don't know what's going to happen to that connection to the cosmos. And we want to ensure that we remain this vibrant, natural, biological human. Many of us have integrated our exoconscious experience. So some of us are lifelong contactees, some the contact maybe has been more recent, but all of us have made a determined effort to integrate all of our contact experiences so that we have a very well-defined exoconscious self. We're not afraid of contact, it doesn't scare us, but we actually welcome it. Now, the reason I use this picture is because sometimes contact feels a little heavy, feels a little scary and traumatic. And what we've had to do in our own individual lives, and everybody, we will be talking about that, is that we have integrated this so that we're not only at ease with it, but also feel like it's a part of us now. It's a defining part of ourself. So it's a right that we possess, a right to be exoconscious. It involves morality. It involves increased health, opportunities for increased health. It involves integration. And most importantly, it involves grounding that cosmic ability within us down into our physical body, which is a very exciting thing that humans are capable of doing. So we believe that, back to the entrepreneurial aspect, that the exoconscious humans are going to generate co-created ideas and inventions. So those ideas that all of us bring together in this I-EXO will be building blocks to create what we call an exoconscious civilization. So we're holding a vision that this exoconscious civilization will be something that is participated in not only with humans here on planet Earth, but also beings of other planets, other dimensions, extraterrestrials, maybe even without a planet or without a dimension that we're beginning to know. So this co-creation is something that not only impacts on a quantum level, we as humans, but also all extraterrestrials and multidimensionals. So when we talked about activating yourself to do something with your contact, what are you going to do with your contact? Some of the things that we're looking at here at I-EXO and the different modalities of inventions we're looking at is perhaps you want to become a healer, or maybe a farmer, farm the earth in a better way, or be a communicator between these dimensions or between ET races. Go into some type of advanced forms of education or new ideas in education to train people. Maybe you're a scientist or you're in technology and you want to work in the technology field and merge technology with exoconsciousness in a beneficial way, in a peaceful way, in a benevolent way. Or maybe you're like Lloyd. And many of you, I'm sure I've seen him on Facebook, because his art truly represents the molding of co-creation. You have to look at his art and know that Lloyd is communicating with extraterrestrials or multidimensionals whenever he creates this dynamic art as as was Tesla, who's represented in this. So this exoconscious civilization, as I said, it's shared by ETs, humans, and multidimensionals. And this image that I show here is really an image of the Institute. So we as the Institute come forward with who we are and how we're relating to our councils or our ET groups. And we bring that into our meetings. We bring that into our planning. And we actually brought that into launching I-EXO today. Our ET and multidimensional guides were part of all this planning. One of the main reasons that I-EXO is here on the planet at this time is because as natural biological humans, we feel that we need to address transhumanism. And I'm going to be talking about what the differences are and how we can address transhumanism, and whether or not transhumanism could possibly be putting us in a closed loop and denying us of our free will and our ability to move out into the field of consciousness. So just to be clear, transhumanism or AI or artificial intelligence or virtual reality is all based on a closed system. So the system itself remains closed once you're in it, especially if, and I don't want to get too technical here, but if you move into a synthetic biology body or a robotic hybrid human body, then that body will be connected into this closed system. And we'll talk more about that. Whereas exoconscious humans have an open system. So we are not only open to the cosmos and all of the beings in the cosmos, but we're open to dimensions within our Earth, our own planet, and dimensions within one another that we can recognize. So we are an open fluid system as exoconscious humans. To make this more knowable, I just wanted to spin a little tale of two children. So I just made up these two children. So the first child his nickname is Ash, but that name, that formula there, XAEA-12, is the name of the child that Elon Musk and his, I don't know, wife or partner have. And that little boy was born a year or so ago. So I just made him up and gave him a little neural net like his father's inventing. So maybe someday Elon Musk will put the little boy in a neural net. I don't know. So he's more of the transhuman type of child being raised today. And then we'll have Celeste, and we'll call Celeste Cause. And as you can tell, she's real into Reiki maybe and the cosmos and communicating with ETs. So we're just going to kind of highlight those two children as a way to understand that. So let's take Ash first. Ash goes to the store with his mom. He's in junior high, and the only thing he wants are Nike sneakers. He's got to have those Nike sneakers. And so his mom says, and dad say, okay, we'll buy you, we're billionaires, so we're going to buy you these Nike Hyper Adapt sneakers. They retail for like $800. Well, little Ash puts on the sneakers, and immediately he's connected to another system, another closed computer system. So these sneakers are a computer system, and Nike actually sells them now. So the computer system in the sneakers is monitoring Ash's body, his temperature, his organs, his breathing, and it's also monitoring all of his behavior, his emotional behavior, his movements and life. Ash is pretty much 24/7 surveilled child if he sleeps in his sneakers. So technocracy is a closed system. Ash goes to school and he wants to be a computer programmer like his dad. He wants to be a computer scientist like his dad, Elon. And so he starts collecting these digital badges that are all different certificates that he's accumulated, and they're all posted up on the web. All these digital badges then go into what's called EduBlocks. So EduBlocks are little Ash's ongoing from early in life, his transcript on the satellite system. So Uncle Jeff Bezos is putting his his transcripts up on the satellite system on the Amazon cloud. And since his dad's a billionaire, he's very aware of having money and the need for money. And he's now realizing that, wow, he can use his own DNA. Ash can use his DNA to store his Bitcoins. And this is actually a company called GeneCoin that is used for this. So he can actually extract his DNA, or maybe have the DNA body in his body with the Bitcoin. So what Ash is doing is, with all of these activities, he's creating an avatar of himself out on Uncle Bezos' cloud. And that's called ID 2020. So that'll have all his medical records, education records, his behavior, his social media, all of that is in his avatar out on the cloud. And then he gets out of college, and he said, okay, I'm going to get a job in a really cool company. And he joins something called the DAO. So the DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization that's all run by blockchains. There's no legal framework to it, or laws, or outside governance. It's all a self-enclosed system where a computer program actually writes all of the rules that all of the employees have to adhere to. So he's actually being overseen. Ash is being overseen by a computer and part of that computer. So Ash's behavior, his digital badges, his edu blocks, his identity, all of that goes out to not only Ash, but all of the members of his family, his mother, his father, his brothers and sisters, his aunts and uncles. Everyone is related in the computer database on the satellite system to Ash himself. So that's an idea of how the closed system works. Now let's come to Kaz and see what she's up to. So Kaz's mother's very different. She sees herself as an exoconscious human. And she's moved through some varying phases of awakening. Maybe her first awakening was a visitation in her bedroom, or a craft, or maybe reading. And then in her dream time, she began to have acquaintances with other beings that she became comfortable with. And now she sees herself as a CE6. Well, Alan Hynek invented the CE, the close encounter categories. So those were the early categories of craft sighting. And then Kaz's mother started reading Jacques Vallée, and she got really interested in all of the folk tales about contact. And she read about Jacques Vallée's CE4, and how that those people that had in the folk tales, how they had a different reality they entered into. Then she got really excited by CE5, and she went on stargazing events and gatherings with her friends, and she would sit on the night sky and identify with the different crafts and the different beings that she would see communicating with her in the night sky. And now Kaz's mom is a CE6. So she's an exoconscious human. So what she's done with all of those experiences is bring them into who she is as an individual and how it's defining herself. And Kaz's mom is deciding that she's going to be a scientist, and she's going to do DNA research to open up how we can activate different parts of our DNA for the advancement of human consciousness. And so she's self-identifying, and she's working from who she is and her experiences. So instead of being out there looking up at the sky, she's exoconscious, so she's internal, looking at who she is as a human. And Kaz's mom teaches her a lot about the non-local field of consciousness and how to access the non-local field of consciousness, how Kaz is related to these beings that are on Earth as well as out in the cosmos. how on a conscious level she's related to other beings, how this freedom and creativity that Kaz has can move and help the human race to advance even quicker. Her mom tells her about biophotons, how that kind of that electrical light language, literally, that we humans use with one another and with animals. For example, Kaz is taught that a rat passes a biophoton, 1 biophoton per neuron per minute. And then Kaz's mom tells her, but you as a human, this is why your natural human body is so important, because the light frequency that you're producing is 1 billion biophotons per neuron per second. So this biophoton ability relates you out into the cosmos to other humans with this amazing biophoton ability, and to create the love of nature and animals and all sentient beings here on the planet Earth. She teaches her about her subtle bodies. And Kaz as a child then learns that the more her contact increases, the more she is activated inside, and that activation is going to help steer, those contacts and activations are going to help steer Kaz into the kind of career that she wants to have. So we believe that some of the things that are happening here with synthetic biology, with transhumanism, with creating hybrids of robots and humans, that we exoconscious humans are going to be here to help humans move through this, because it may bring issues to humanity, such as damaged immune systems, or damaged neural systems, or damaged physical movement systems, that we as exoconscious humans are going to have to kind of stitch back together humans and help them move to a different place as natural biological humans. So let's say that Kaz decides with her DNA that she's going to also learn a lot about epigenetics and become an epigenetic engineer and learn how the quantum field is going to influence herself and other people. And then as Kaz goes through her training, maybe she's going to alternative kinds of schools. She's maybe coming up with inventions and patents. Now, in our planet Earth today, most inventions and patents, if they're very viable, usually get scooped up by a few places. They're usually scooped up by the military, they're scooped up by governments, and they're scooped up by universities. And governments, militaries, and universities are all in cooperation together. So Kaz figures, I don't really want to be part of that system. I don't want to be a part of the transhuman system. I don't want to be a part of the military system. I want to do something and bring my inventions into a new community. That's exactly what I-EXO is for. We are here to help people bring their manifestations, bring their activations, their ideas into a different community, a community of peace and benevolence and health. So all of a sudden, Kaz finds the Institute for Exoconsciousness. She finds I-EXO. And all of a sudden, she's meeting all of these exoconscious healers. She's meeting farmers that have wonderful, they're raising crops to feed the world and to nourish the world and at an advanced level. She's meeting scientists and technology people, just like she's interested in. And together, they're collaborating and making this research that would have never been possible had Kaz been alone. So that's one of the important things about I-EXO, is that we're bringing forth a community that helps all of us grow and collaborate. And we believe that as we gather as a community, that collaboration and creativity actually exponentially grows and expands, because we feel safe and we feel like what we're bringing forward is something that's going to benefit and help humanity and help our planet, and likewise is going to help and benefit and advance the extraterrestrials and their civilizations, and the multidimensionals and their dimensions. So all of it is a win-win, very cosmic kind of symphony that happens when cause finds I-EXO. And then as cause becomes able to bring more and more information forward, now she's a trainer. So she's joined I-EXO, and she's a trainer at I-EXO, and she's sharing her science and her background and her contact and her communication with ETs and multidimensionals, and training other people in how to do that. So these two pieces of training and invention, or activation, or innovation, are what make up I-EXO as a collaborative community, always a collaborative community. Some are communicating, some are artistic, but all of these people come together. For example, an artist could be saying, I'm going to paint the vision of tomorrow. And this artist brings forth a vision in her art, and she shows her art to Cause, and Cause says, oh, that is so awakening to me. I'm going to take this image that you've given me in your art, and I'm going to use it in my science. Or the farmer's going to say, oh, I'm going to take this image that you've given me in your art, your vision of ETs and multidimensionals that you're bringing forward, and I'm going to use it in my farming, or in my healing, or in my communication. So that's a way that we all are collaborating and moving this information forward, not only to ourselves as humans, but always intergalactically into extraterrestrials and multidimensionals. So we would invite you to join, regardless of where you are on this path. Maybe it's just kind of a niggle right now, like I-EXO took 5 years to get together. Maybe you're just a niggle of, I would really like to activate and use my contact. And I would like to find a community that could help me activate and use my contact. We're it. If that's what you want to do, we are it. So you can visit our YouTube channel. You could go to our I-EXO.com website and join with us. Once again, it doesn't matter which place you are in this journey. It's an exciting journey for all of us. And this is a video that one of our members that you'll hear from today, Giuliano Pizzotti, put together that gives an overview of what I-EXO means. Welcome to the era of exoconsciousness, the innate human ability to connect, communicate, and co-create with ETs and multidimensionals. Normal individuals, a singular institute. We are normal people gathered in a singular institute to recognize and integrate our ET multidimensional nature and abilities, using them to produce innovations to build an exoconscious civilization. Entrepreneurship and education. We are committed to co-creating a healthy world of free individuals with advanced consciousness. This icon represents the levels of consciousness involved in exoconscious entrepreneurship and education, which include awareness, self-integration, morally autonomous participation, collaboration, and co-creation. the X realities in exoconscious experience. This icon represents the balance of co-creation, feminine masculine, yin yang, earth cosmos. The inverted pyramid represents the multidimension accessible to exoconscious humans that begins with an inward, grounded, and balanced awareness. The upward pyramid represents our exoconscious paradigm ascending from within and moving outward to its highest purpose. Together, they form an hourglass representing a trustworthy nature, a consistency over time, of the Institute for Exoconsciousness and its members. Opportunities. Opportunity is the gateway that connects exoconscious entrepreneurs, providing exposure and support for innovative co-creations through strong dynamic networks, extending interdimensionally through and beyond space and time. Discover more at I-EXO.com. We are exoconscious.